What's up, everybody? Welcome to the double podcast episode with your host, Brittney with Free Lady and
Daniel with Freeing Your Mind podcast.
We decided, of course, as you know, on my channel, we have done this duo because we love each other.
Just a couple times.
And we love to share our relationship with you guys and also check you in with what's going on with us. But he also launched his podcast about 4 weeks ago. So congratulations.
Yeah. It's been going good. And so, we do talk we have some crossover in our podcasts about what we talk about. We're both very much oriented in helping other people. For those of you that have tuned into my podcast, but not Brittney's, and the other way around. So a big part of that is just that's what we're both passionate about, is helping people and just trying to do the best that we can.
Couch.
Yeah, this is a great couch at the Airbnb, guys. They're allegedly a super host. I'm sitting on pillows because the couch sags so much that if I wasn't on the pillows, I'd be down here. So it's a good time. It's great.
We got a nice fake thing plant over here, though. So
that's very nice.
That's super nice. So basically, you guys know that this is Remy. This is Daniel's service dog right here.
Just all up in the business because she's not working right now.
Daniel doesn't necessarily need her as a service dog anymore, but she's such a good dog and so well trained that we just bring her everywhere.
She does go everywhere, and it's kind of her purpose in life too. She doesn't she was trained and pretty much from 4 months old, that's been her purpose, is learning to just serve me. And so now that I don't need her, I just take her with me because, how would you feel if somebody just locked you in the house when you were used to having a purpose in life and then all of a sudden you don't? So
yeah, she's super, super great. And she loves me a lot. So that's pretty awesome from day one. So anyways, you guys, again, we're both here to help as many people as we can. That has been our mission since we've been together. And now, it's so great that we're definitely on the same page with that. It's really nice to have a partner that we want to do the best that we can for others, because we were on that journey too of finding love for ourselves. And that's how we found each other, so today, we're just going to talk about things that we have been struggling with, things that have been really exciting, things that we have been doing, and just talking about the weekend that we're having this weekend. It's been really incredible hanging out, even though we have some pretty nasty cold weather here in the lovely Utah. It's
not that bad.
I mean,
it's not great. It is spring, allegedly.
Yesterday was pretty bad. It was pretty gross. So with that said, I just want to start off with, I'm so glad to be with him. Every time that we're together, there's always really great, powerful things that happen when we're together. When we're not together, it's not so great.
It's really not a lot of fun. We find that we're kind of we annoy each other a lot. I try to annoy her anyways, though, because it's fun.
Yeah, that's true.
I enjoy that.
Yeah, what is up with that? Guys love annoying their ladies.
She likes it. You like it.
Do I though?
A little bit.
Okay. Yeah. So I love him. I know he's my person in this life, and I just feel my best self. I'm always doing things that make me happy and make us happy, as a couple. But when we're not together, I notice I barely can talk to him on the phone because I'm so miserable without him. Now, am I miserable as a human being? No. Am I independent? Yes. Do I need to be that independent when I'm with him? Absolutely not. Because he lets me be me. He loves me for me. He lets me be my weird self. He lets me be my, in my most divine feminine energy, which is so beautiful. And I vice versa. I let him be him. He's extremely masculine, and I love that. I trust him in those things. And when we're together, it's just like magic. Everything is exciting, not because we're together from being long distance. What's exciting is the things that happen when we're together. We get these connections that are amazing. People get excited to see us. People get excited to hang out with us. And that's not, having an egotistical mind. Like, we generally like hanging out with our tribe that's here too. It's just, everything just works.
Definitely.
So it's just so hard. Like, I have been struggling so much. Like, if you have seen me on my stories, I don't know when this episode is going to air because there's a bunch of episodes coming out. But we're going to figure that out because we're going to want to have it aired together. And so, but it's just, I don't even want to talk on the phone. I'm just so angry that we're not together, and it's been so hard, especially when you know that you're with your person. Like, you just want to be with them. And so we're really, really praying a lot. We're really praying a lot. We make sure to still always, put our love into each other. It's just hard. Like, there's nothing more I can say about it.
Well, it just is. I mean,
hard.
distance isn't an easy thing. It's definitely something new for me and for both of us, I think. And we're just navigating it.
Yeah.
And that's so much of that is life. And we talk about that all the time, that we navigate so much of life, and that sometimes it just sucks. And sometimes she can't take anything seriously. But as we navigate life, we have times where things are hard, things are difficult. It's not always smooth sailing. So we just go through it the best we can, take it day by day, one step at a time. And one of the things that was recommended to us early on, or maybe it was just your idea, I don't remember, but it was just but it was just to basically, like, when we were together, plan the next trip, have a date before you leave each other, so then it's set. And that's been super helpful because we at least know that we have that marker to look for. And sometimes not sometimes, it always feels like, damn, we should have set that closer. But we both have things we have to do, kids, work, everything in our lives that we're trying to do with our own personal growth and podcasts, and just keeping up with all the things that we desire to do to help people. So in that process, that recharges us. The time that we have together recharges us. It gives us an opportunity to come together, and I really feel like it really sparks my creativity when we're together. Like, because we just act stupid around each other, and it's fun, but then we get stuff done too, which is awesome. I mean, yesterday I got to go around and I played photographer all day while she was doing a couple podcasts that she had scheduled for
so
in person.
Awesome.
And it was great. We made good connections. We got to hang out with some, one that we both already knew that's a friend of ours, made a new friend, like somebody that we'd both interacted with on social media, but not really had a chance to meet in person. And it's just good to do those things, and it feels so good. And it feels good to be able to support her in those things. And then knowing that conversation that's being had in that interview is going to help so many people. We usually don't get to know who it helps, but we know it does. Our messages reach people, and that's what our hope is just that we can help as many as we can. And in that, I really think that, like, it gave me an opportunity to do something that I kind of forgot that I like to do. I don't take a ton of pictures. Most everything that I do video picture wise, it's because I'm posting on social media. And so I had like 2 hours of just snapping photos and just taking little videos from other angles. And, no secret, guys, I have this really like high-tech camera that's like really rare. But
hey, me too.
Yeah, takes great photos. Imagine that. And they look great. But it gave Brittney all this content to use, and the people who she interviewed all this content to use as well. And it made me realize that, like, I want to do more of that.
Yeah, he had some great photos, like real candid ones. Like, so he got to come on set when I had the interview with Bryce Prescott, and it was such a good conversation. And then we all three just collaborated on some things that we were talking about, what we're feeling, what we're thinking about, things that we were thinking about in the future. And so it was just really awesome. And both of us were so excited to see like a really good setup for podcasting. And we know we're going to get to that someday. But at the same time, we both want to have a space for that. We want to really have a sanctuary for our podcast. And so once that happens, we'll get like all the right equipment. And that's what we're starting to do. And then he was able to come with me and do the podcast with Amber Castaneda. And that was like, her and I are like kindred spirits that, we've probably been friends in other lifetimes. And like, the whole world stopped when we were in this conversation. It was so serious, but it was so hilarious at the same time. Like, I was like, oh my God, did we just talk about that? Like, it was so fun, but it's like the things that we talked about were things that everybody goes through, and, I got to peep over sometimes, and Daniel is just cracking up.
It was about
laughing
the
his
most.
ass off.
It's
like,
the most I've laughed in a really long time. And I'm trying to be quiet because they're filming. So I'm just sitting over there in the corner laughing my ass off, taking pictures with
oh my gosh, it was so
video
great.
clips.
But I loved having him there. It was so fun. Like I hope that I can do that for him someday, and it was just really fun doing it together. Even though he wasn't in the interview, we were still doing it together, and like doing things together just brings me so much joy. I am so happy. Not to say, am I happy when I'm in Colorado doing hair, being with my family? Yes, absolutely. But he's my family, and he is the person that I want to be with. So, like, especially you think that because our cups are filled when we leave each other, it's almost, what is that word you said last time? Like, it's separation anxiety.
Well, yeah,
big time.
We get this
time.
window where we're together and like we do everything together while we're together and present. And we build a very strong bond doing that, and it's great. But then we only have like 4 days to do it, and then we separate for like a month and a half. And so we really do fill our cups as much as we can. And I mean everything. Like for people who tune into just mine and hers, like we're really pretty the same. Like we both have morning routines that we do that involve like a list of tasks, essentially, right? Like we read, we meditate, I journal, work out, all these things. And so when we're together, we do that together.
Yeah.
So we sit on the couch in the morning, we get up and sit here, and she drinks her tea, I drink my coffee. She's reading, I'm reading, journaling, do some meditation. Then we go to the gym. We stay, wherever we go, we stay somewhere where there's a gym. So we can keep that routine and keep those things that we use on the daily to fill our cups. Yeah. And to make us whole. But we don't stop doing that because we're together. So yeah, because we're doing that, and then plus having this time together, it's just, we got to bring a bigger cup with us. I think that's how I feel about it. Absolutely.
And for those out there in relationships or new relationships or relationship that you've been in a really long time, yes, we have those vacations in Mexico and Hawaii, like they're just glorious and tropical, and you just kind of want to unplug. But at the same time, it's really awesome that we have these similar tasks, because we're setting up our day the same. And it's not like I'm like, oh, why do you have to do that? Like, I'm waiting for you to finish all your tasks, and that's not very inspiring. So it's really beautiful that
I just like laughing at you.
That we get to do these things together, and we want to do these things because we really set up our lives for success individually and together. And so I just love that. I love working out with him, even though like sometimes I get irritated at his form because I'm like a form Nazi when it comes to lifting. But at the same time,
I'm a cardio guy.
Like I love helping him. Like I love like, okay, no, do this, no, do this. Maybe that's why your back is hurting, And so we went to what's been the big thing the last 3 days. What did you want to do, babe?
Oh, I needed to get shoes.
I didn't get shoes. He was like, I need some shoes.
And so you want to hear like
I need some shoes, babe.
Yeah.
You got some Vans.
So you want to hear about like some derangement syndrome? A woman that doesn't like shopping and gets annoyed by shopping.
Oh yeah.
Hates shopping.
Pretty much.
So you know what I'm going to do every time we hang out? We're going to go shopping.
Oh God.
Like I even went and bought groceries before I picked you up at the airport. So you didn't have to because you hate shopping so much. It's weird.
Well, grocery shopping like is necessity, right? But I'm talking about like clothes shopping. I can go into a boutique by myself. Like maybe once every like 5 years. And, but I'm an online shopper. I was an online shopper before Amazon got huge. Like I feel claustrophobic. I don't like being around people. I don't like having to go in a changing room. I don't like having to, change, my clothes. I feel like if I can shop online, I get to do way more things that I want to do in the list of things that I want to do that make me happy. It just doesn't bring me joy. The positive side is that, we're together, and it was actually really fun and going to the store because we get to the task of like driving together. I've been looking at these like mustard yellow checkered slip-on vans for like years, but then I always end up making custom vans online. And so it was fun kind of shopping around for vans because they're actually really good to lift in. If you are looking for like a lifting shoe, not a cardio shoe, just to lift something because it's flat, it's comfortable, it's cushiony. And but then he wanted to try on the same pair like 5 times, and I was like,
I like to make sure stuff fits right.
And I was like,
I got some OCD. Like it's part of me. It's who I am, and I'm not ashamed of it.
Yeah. So but that's the beauty in it, is like we're together doing those things. But again, I won't be shopping a lot because I just don't enjoy it. And it was windy in the canals of the outdoor outlet, and that's really cold. Maybe in the summertime when it's like a little bit warmer, and
well, you'll be miserable. It'll be hot then.
Well, I'm just saying we could try it.
Yeah,
we can try it.
Give her a go.
Give it a go. So another reason why we got together this month, because usually we don't get together that quickly, because I did come out here last February. We went to a Lions flying. Kind of like that. Lions flying. Yes. And we went to a fly-in that Sean Whalen hosts for his coaching group, the Lions Den, which is closing this year, but it's still open. Like even if you're in it for like 3 months, you are going, even a month,
your life.
You're going to change your life. Like it literally changed my life. Like when I first got in, I was like, oh, this is crazy. And then you're like, boom, I joined in April, changed my life completely in June. And it's just been incredible. And so it's really awesome that we get to do these in person, because the last time I went to a fly-in was in October, and that's when we met in person. So it was really nice to see people that we are really good friends with. It was nice to have people come up to me. It's so good to see you guys, like both of us. Like that was so cool.
We've made a lot of good friends just since we've come together.
We got our little tribe down here for sure.
Yeah, we enjoy coming down here. It's not far for me. It's only a couple hours, not even 2, but it's where our group of friends are, and the people that we hang out with, and that are all on that growth trajectory, that want to do big things to help people and to just better everyone.
Yeah.
And that's a hard group to find this day and age. And I know I talk about it a lot, and like growth, and I know you talk about growth a lot, but in order to have that, you really need to hang out with the people that are like-minded, and people that will challenge you, that will push you, and that you can look up to. Because some of the people that we hang out with like are such an inspiration to me. Like I'm like, how do you do what you do? Like they're just incredible people. And then to be able to spend time with them and learn from them and grow from them is priceless. And then they're just such good friends to boot that, it's just, I don't know how to explain it other than it's just amazing. And it's a remarkable group of people that we hang out with and that we associate with.
It's like magnetic.
Yeah.
It was like magical, energetic, magnetic, like togetherness. That sound weird? Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But that's how it felt, because it was just like everything was just like came together. When we came together, everything else came together. Our little tribe, we built our table. We have such amazing people in our lives down here, and like it's so great to inspire each other and push each other, and check in with each other. Hey, are you okay? Hey, you're doing great. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. We share each other's things. It's a beautiful, beautiful relationship that we have with our friends down here. And I couldn't ask for anything more. And with Sean's fly-ins, there's not a lot of people there. It's very intimate. It gets like really deep. It gets very bold. It's very transparent. Like you let it all hang out in these fly-ins, and Sean will break you in the best of ways. He really gets things out of you. You might think that you're going into these events knowing what you want to ask or talk about, but it completely changes of what you actually need to talk about. It's like all the things that you want, like, why don't I have this? I want this. Well, life is going to give you what you need. Just like the fly-ins, your questions that you need will be answered as long as you speak up. If you don't speak up, like, you're not going to get a lot out of it.
It's like everything. You get what you get out of life, what you put into it.
Yeah.
And we talk about vulnerability and being willing to say the things that you don't want to say and do the things you don't want to do, because those are usually the things that you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's all about, because you'll get asked questions and you're like, oh crap, I don't talk about that. So what do? You talk about it, because it's obviously what you need to talk about. And because you're willing to do that, you have these incredible breakthroughs that help you grow and develop even more. Mm-hmm. And what I love about it is I leave there and I have a plan for my life, what I need to work on in the next, month, 2 months, 3 months for myself. But then I also have a plan for like how I want to help people, what I need to do for that. And then just the networking and developing those things with other people. And yeah, I mean, I thought it was just a need to be said, but yeah. And her, this lady. So, but with that, like transitions happen. And so like, this is a very different conversation for the people who tune into my podcast than what I typically have. So, for anybody who hasn't watched or listened to any of the Free in Your Mind podcast, I typically help, the type of people that I usually have on have a story related to trauma, PTSD, depression, anxiety, mental health realm of things. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them are first responders, military. I also have had some mental health professional type people that have come on, and there's more coming in that realm too, that talk about what they do in the mental health world. And so the hope there is to just help people get into treatment that need treatment. If you guys watch her podcast, obviously you know about me. I'm no stranger. Mm-hmm. and my background with PTSD and how I've gone through that journey of healing and recovery, and how I'm helping people with it now. So I'm shifting the pendulum a little bit to have her on, because this is a part of my story too. This is a part of my continued growth, and we're both working towards helping people in the same way, but also in a very different way too, because we come together, but then we both do our own thing. But like, I'll have an interview coming out that it'll actually be out before this airs. And it's just an inspiring story. And it's somebody that is a friend of mine that I know and love. And he just has a great story. And like, when I met him, I was just like, man, like this, you need to get out there and talk. And he has a podcast too. But so there's going to be a little pivot in that now too, where I'm adding some things that are just of value to people to just see, like, inspiring stories and hear those stories, because anything good and worthwhile is content worth absorbing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, we could sit here and we could just talk about politics, but you can turn on the news and hear the same garbage that we're going to talk about. So is that adding value? We want to add value. We want something that
you're not the news or nothing compared.
No, I mean, news. Yeah, no, but because we want to add value to your life.
This is what we want you to do listening to, like people like us, and, we're just like you know what I mean? Like, I have recognized in my own life, instead of like watching, a movie or TV, which I still like to do on an airplane, like all I'm listening to is podcasts. So like, what are you watching at home? Is it adding value to your life? It doesn't have to be us, but it could be Sean Whalen. It could be Ed Milet. It can be you know,
There's so many
there's
people
so
out
many
there.
people. Bryce Prescott, like Keith Yackey, it could
Jay
be
Shetty. I
Jay
mean, we
Shetty.
got
Oh
tons
my
of
God,
stuff.
he's amazing. Jeremy Finley, you know, it's just, there's so many people that you could listen to that could add value to your life. And it's just like what you're following on your social media. You know, you can follow the right people and have a very positive effect on your life. And then your life is a little bit more positive because of what you're listening to, what your brain is listening to. And for those listening onto Daniel's podcast today, again, hi, you know, my name is Brittney, and, you know, Daniel and I have been dating since October. We met in August. He actually was on my podcast talking about PTSD in episode 11. And when I saw him on Instagram talking to somebody else, I was like, that I knew, I was like overboard emotions that I needed to have him on my podcast because the story is so amazing. It's so powerful for someone to recover from PTSD and do what he's doing now. Like, I couldn't be more proud of him. I look up to him. Like, he is so brilliant. He's so easygoing. The words that come out of his mouth are just beautiful and they're inspiring. And I just love the way he loves people. And I love the way he wants to help as many people as he can. And that's what we want to do together someday. So,
Yeah.
you know, you guys will hear us together on his podcast or my podcast very frequently, because eventually, you know, we want to just keep growing it separately together, you know, whatever that looks like. We don't know yet. And that's kind of exciting, you know. But it just really builds our tribe even more, because the connection you get on podcasts is like nothing else.
Oh, it's been awesome.
So cool. It's so cool.
And I'm always trying to find people too, because a lot of the people that come on, and by the way, that, like, I don't think I could beat that plug. It was pretty awesome.
What?
The plug that you just gave me, talking me up, was great. Like,
oh, I know, babe. I'm really awesome.
good. Yeah, she's pretty awesome.
I'm super cool.
So, but like we interview a lot of people that are in the same group as we are.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that is because we're all on that path. So we know we need to do things to get ourselves out there, tell our story, and we're willing to do that. But we're both constantly looking for people to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
And it can just be anybody. So many people don't think they have a story.
We all do.
And they don't think that their story is something anybody wants to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
June of last year, I was like, I need to tell this story. I don't think anybody wants to hear it. It turns out people wanted to hear it because you guys watch me. She wanted me on her podcast, and it's had a ton of views, and people want to hear the story. They want to hear your story. We all have a very unique story. We're all on this spinning blue ball living life, but our existence is unique. Each one of us, we're all uniquely us. And that story is so unique that it needs to be shared.
Absolutely. Like, we can relate to each other all the time, you know, and that's what I think is so cool about being transparent, because it helps you be transparent, right? It helps you share your story. It helps you feel more comfortable about what you went through. And yes, other people's stories are going to sound traumatic than yours because you're judging your own story, right? But guess what? I was just talking about this with Amber yesterday. Yeah. It all feels the same. We all feel traumatized. We all feel unloved. We all feel hurt. We all like play a victim at some point in our lives through these challenges. And, you know, of course, we are the ones that get to have the choice to change. And when we change and we love ourselves, like, it's so beautiful what happens inside of you, that like, we want to share that. That's why we want to help people, because, you know, it feels so amazing to love yourself. And that is like my whole thing about my podcast and his whole thing with his podcast. And it's such a beautiful theme of stories and relationships and connections. And, you know, we really are not alone. And
not at all. We are, like, there's so many people that I found that relate to me, that I see watching you, that relate to you, and around, like, we're two very different people. Like, we are very different people. I tell her all the time, like, she said this on her podcast. I'll just say it. We started dating. I was like, I got to tell you something. And she's like, what? And I was like, you're weird as fuck, but I love it. And
The best
and it's
compliment ever.
and she was like, thank you. But like, she is uniquely her. I'm
Mhm.
uniquely me. And because of that, like, we still connect because we connect on certain areas, but my story may not resonate with everybody, but it's going to resonate with somebody. And the same with Brittney. Her story is going to resonate with somebody.
Mhm.
Probably not everybody. We're not like not everybody likes Coke, right?
The drink?
The drink, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, or the drug. Like, just let's be honest. But yeah. So, but yeah, like, we're all not, not everybody is into the same flavor of ice cream, same beverage, whatever. We're all unique.
Mhm.
But there's somebody else that at least your message resonates with, that they can relate to, or that is inspiring to them.
Yeah.
And that was with us. Like, she saw that in me. And then once I got to know her, I was like, I see that in you. And we just clicked, and then we just went with it. And so we've just kind of been like rolling on this path. And it's weird because it's been a while now. It's like we're about 6 months in almost.
6 months, baby.
You
know, like in Schitt's Creek when David gets that big like 3-month cookie and like how much he hates it because he's like, I don't know why we have to celebrate these month things. And his boyfriend is just like, because he knows it bugs him so much. You know what I mean? I think it's so cute.
So am I supposed to get you a cookie now?
Yeah, it says 6 months.
She doesn't like dessert, so I don't know what kind of cookie.
Yeah, we had dessert last night. We went to Cultivate Kitchen here in Draper, Utah. I am a big foodie, and when it comes to like really good service, like exceptional. This restaurant has exceptional food. The chef is so creative that, and you could taste the love behind this food. You can taste every flavor that he puts in. And it just like, and the wait staff was just amazing. We left a huge tip because we were so impressed and we were so taken care of. And it was so damn good. So if you guys need a recommendation for a restaurant here in Draper, Utah,
take your lady on a date night.
Oh my gosh, it's a great spot. It really has really beautiful views. If you're sitting by the window, it's really cool. So, that's like totally off the subject, but just saying, we still go on date night every time we're together, at least once, and when we are not together, we try to do FaceTime dating, which really, when we do that, we're just trying to not talk about our job, or we're not talking about his kids, because he has 3 girls.
It's just an us time.
Yeah. So even though we always talk on FaceTimes, it sometimes feels the same, and that's okay. But we just want to make sure that we have date night every week, so we're used to that when we are in person. Hopefully someday, really soon, like tomorrow.
Yeah, that'd be
for the
nice,
rest of the life.
It's a consistency thing too.
Yeah.
And like, we're not perfect. Well, I'm not perfect at it because I'm supposed to plan the date night, but sometimes like life gets crazy and we just face it.
You meaning like, when does it work for you?
Yeah, like, so it's not right now, it's not a consistent day of the week. Hopefully someday we can make it where it is, but it's something that's definitely different to try to do over FaceTime and have it be something that feels special. But we connect. We just have, it's just that time that we just talk about us. Hard lately. Yeah,
it's just been really
it's hard. Life,
because I'm so emotional that I'm not with him in person, and it makes me angry. I'm gonna be straight up honest. It makes me so angry, and like, he'll ask me how I'm doing. I'm like, I'm fine. What would you do today? Nothing.
Because everybody knows fine's not fine.
I'm just like not excited to tell him because, I just want to tell him like this, and I don't hold anything back from him. I tell him everything. I am like such an open book, even more open book with him. And it's really beautiful. But, I'm not gonna lie. I've been getting so angry, and I just, I've been working on a lot of things that are outside of my comfort zone and pushing me to the max, and it's all really good things. And so it makes it even harder for me not to be with him because like, he is my rock. I'm my own rock too, you guys, right? Like, I don't need him. I want to have him in my life, and therefore I do need the things that he does support me with. Does that make sense? because a lot of times, you know, we can get in these relationships where we just like need everything that they do, and then you lose like who you are. So we actually grow into more of who we are every time we're together. You know, we keep growing together. We keep growing as individually and what we're doing. We keep getting uncomfortable, and being uncomfortable is really scary. And you can get angry with that too sometimes. You know, a lot of times the last couple of weeks, I wanted to burn the shit to the ground.
Well, we were both that way for sure.
Oh my God.
I mean, there's
like, I was like,
the gas was poured and the matches were in hand. Like,
yeah.
but yeah, it's hard, but I just lost my train of thought, but there was something that we were gonna delve into more. So just keep doing you.
Well, you know, it is hard, but you know, if everything was so easy, like everyone would be doing it, you know, and everyone, yeah, exactly. So these are the moments where we're learning about ourselves like the most. We're learning about ourselves as a couple, and he is so good, you guys. Like, he's always so calm, and he's like, I love you, babe. You're so beautiful. Like, watching you grow is just so beautiful to me. And sometimes I'm like, because I'm not with him, do I appreciate it? Oh, yes. And, you know, I apologize when I'm being a little bitchy, you know, just because I'm just so, I hate not being with him. I'm really, really struggling. And so I know when I get back home, I'm going to be struggling all over again. But, you know, thankfully, like, I have a crazy workout routine because I've been getting coached by Azaria. And that's really helped me focus a little bit more on just pushing myself to be the best that I can be, you know, like working in my job, doing my podcast, hanging out with family, but he's not there, you know, and it's just like, I look over at my bed and he's not there, you know, it's super hard.
It is. And I remember what I want to talk about now. So we were talking about like you talked to me about everything.
Yeah.
And like, so for me, like, we'll just kind of steer into a little bit of what I talk about usually. For me, like in the past, I had a really hard time being open and honest with people, especially with my partner, because I always felt like I had to put on this mask that everything was okay. And I know that you see that, because still being in fire, I still have those days where I have the bad days where we deal with the messed up stuff and the bad things. And this is a very new thing for her,
kind of,
where you know, she reacts really well to it. You're adapting really well, but you know, I'll just talk about it. And like, I would bring it up before, but never really wanted to talk about it. But she'll just very much be like, what can I do to help? Is there anything I can do to help? Which is great. Most of the time there isn't, but it's the thought that matters.
Yeah.
But very much for me, it's given me this opportunity to learn and grow and be better at just being like, I'm being a dick because of this. Like, I recognize that this call is bothering me, and I'm being a dick because of it.
Yeah.
And so it's part of that process as we heal and we learn and we grow. And like a lot of the treatments with PTSD, a big part of that is integration. So we go through and we learn, we do all this work to learn how to cope with this bad thing. But we have to integrate that, because if we don't integrate it, we just have it all still there eating away at us. So the integration allows us to process it, file it in the right place, send it wherever it needs to go, and be okay with it. So part of the integration for me that's always been the hardest is just being able to be like, yeah, I'm kind of in a mood right now because of this, and just say it. And it's such a stupid, simple thing, because she'll be like, why are you being a dick to me? Why are you being an ass to me? What did I do to piss you off? And I'm like, you didn't do anything to piss me off. I just had a shitty day. So if I just lead with that and just say, yep, had to deal with this today and it sucked. And then she knows, and that's not her cue to like tiptoe around. That's just her cue that like, I may not be interacting with her the same, and it's not anything that she did. I'm just in a mood. It's me. It's not her, it's me. So it frees Brittney up from from that wonder and nagging feeling of like, what did I do wrong? Why am I not enough right now?
Mhm.
When she is, it's just, she gives me space at that point.
Absolutely. You know, like, cause there are some times when I would find things out, like I can probably count on my hand, like maybe 3 or 4 things that he would tell me weeks later. And guess what happens when he does that?
She don't like you.
You know, no. Like the fire comes out. I'm like, I get like a fire belly, like Bowser, you know, like in Super Mario. I just want to like, but at the same time, I know that it's a journey for him to be open like this. Like, that's why we started our friendship so great, because we were so transparent about everything. But with the really, really hard things, that's what he was learning. And so when he does tell me these things, I'm like, oh, thank you. And that's it. I know that I need to give him space and grace. And I know I need to just ask, how can I help? And is there anything I can do, you know? Or if you need to be more specific, something that if he said like there was a really shitty you know, shooting fire at the same time, like, okay, so is there anything I can do to help you with that situation if you need to be more specific? But really, you know, giving them space and grace, and just like he does for me too, like he's actually very exceptional giving that to me and making sure that he's being like just soft and kind. And even though I might be still like, you know, but he's actually really, really good at it. Sometimes that irritates me because I'm just already so irritated. But he's so good at it. I'm just like, I'm so lucky to have this amazing man in my life. I've waited 40 years. I waited 40 years for you.
Check.
And it's so worth it. I'm like gonna get emotional. Just don't even look at me right now. I love him so much, you know, and that is so much power.
When we do just get along great, and like found that like our love for each other is very strong, and having that, I'm grateful for it, and that even with the distance, that it has allowed us to grow. And I think too, like, you know, what we were talking about, that's a huge nugget, just that transparency.
Oh man.
And just because it's hard, and especially like somebody who's in that space environment where we're very much not supposed to talk about calls and things like that because of HIPAA laws, and you know, you can't divulge patient information, right? Which I don't.
No, he doesn't.
But
I was just gonna say,
but I can tell her like, hey, this happened. It was a bad call.
Yeah.
I can tell her that yeah, I dealt with something bad at work.
Yeah.
But I'm obviously not like, oh, it was Sally Jane down the road, or not that she would know anyways, because she lives out of state, but it's just, that's not how we do it. But just being able to give that to you so that it takes the, I guess, the stress off of you. I don't know what it would even be, anxiety, whatever.
You know what?
Just feeling like
I was saying earlier, it just makes me feel there's trust there. You know what I mean? And trust is super big, that he can open up with me. And I'm just so thankful that he can do that instead of me not knowing anything. It's knowing nothing. And if he couldn't say these things, he doesn't trust me enough, or he doesn't trust that I will give him space, or you know, I'm going to judge him or something like that. You know, that I've been around firefighters my whole life. My best friend's dad is a firefighter. Her husband's a firefighter. My best friend's other husband is a firefighter. So I understand it, but I've never dated a firefighter. I actually used to say I would never date a firefighter because, you know, my girlfriends are California firefighters and they're gone all the time. So it's really hard. And so, but it's kind of like that because we're long distance. I guess it's kind of like the same thing. But I'm also at the same time, I'm really fortunate to have a man that is brilliant in those ways and has the skills in those ways. Like he is very, very capable of taking care of so many different things that like, I just don't understand in that realm. And I love that, you know, we get to be in that moment together, being honest with each other. And I think that's what it really comes down to. Absolutely. And that makes me feel really good that you can be open with me, you know, like I've never had a man that wants to be open. And I know they're hiding something because I'm very intuitive. That's what he knew, got right away. He's like, can't hide from her at all anyways.
And I don't want to hide it.
No.
But there is like that initial,
I just always know.
like starting out in a relationship where
Yeah,
I know this couch is awful. Very much not knowing how you would deal with those things and hearing it. So my instant thought is like, just stick with my past reaction to it is just, nope, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm on the track. I'm good. Because then I'm not putting you in a weird spot. That was my initial thought. I'm like, well, then if nothing changes, then right, nothing changes. So I just rolled with it and was like, okay, well, I mean, hell, I've done so much this year, like stacked up the things that I'm like, I can't do that. That's not me, never gonna happen. Well, then fuck it. Let's do this too.
Yeah.
And fortunately you've adapted to it really well. And like,
thank you.
How to, and like we do talk about it, like, hey, when this happens, I need this. And like we have to remind each other, we both remind each other stuff because it's the language thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we don't do those things, guys, we can't get better. And especially like, I'm just gonna call out men because we're men. That's who we are. Like we're like, oh, okay, I'm good. Got my shit together. And on the outside, we're pretty good at like showing that, but we gotta be willing to just be like, yeah, it's not so together.
And it feels better, right? Like that you can be open to that.
But you also,
not just for me, but for you.
It's important. Yeah. But it's also important that you are able to do that with your partner or someone you trust, a close friend, somebody. But especially like if you have your partner, like you have to be willing to do that with your partner because that's your closest. Let's be clear, it's your ride or die, right? It's your everything. It's the person that you've chosen to be with because you trust them, because you're willing to be vulnerable with them and they're willing to be vulnerable with you. And for me, like sometimes that can be the hardest thing to talk about those things. It's like anything else though, practice makes it easier.
Yeah.
The more you do those things that you need to do, the better you do.
Well, and also like, a side note, like men are being shamed for being vulnerable. And that's where men are like hitting the fan right now.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not okay. And our men are masculine. Their divine masculinity is like very, very beautiful, but they are also emotional human beings too. And they need to be able to talk vulnerably. They need to be able to talk in a safe space, to let it out, to like have someone listen. I don't, have to give him opinions. And I've also like learned that too. Like, do you want my opinion this time?
We both have.
Do you not want my opinion? Do you want me to just listen? And so because my opinions sometimes are like really positive and he doesn't take it that way. So I've learned to be like, okay, would you like to hear what I have to say? Or you just want to listen? Or you just want me to listen? And he's like, I just want you to listen this time. Or he'll be like, yeah, I would love to hear what you say. And I'm like, okay, both works because he's telling me what he needs and vice versa. And that's really important to hear because a lot of times, like when we hear something, we're just like, well, you should do this and you should do this. Da, 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 da. How are you hearing somebody when all you're doing is coming back and saying, well, you should?
Yeah. And our initial response is we want to help though. You're not doing it out of a bad place. Yeah. Like I joke around with you that you nag. Like, oh, you're so naggy or whatever, mothering. Don't tell her she hates that. But it's mothering. It's that word. It's very nurturing. Much. But even so, like that doesn't always feel that way, even though it's coming from a good place. Because where I'm at, I'm not in a spot where I want that. I just need to unload some stuff and unpack it and just spread it out and just be able to look at it and observe it. Yes. And have somebody hear me.
He also has to say that though too. Like if he doesn't tell me that, like, hey, I just really need you to hear me. So I'm already set up being like, okay, you got it.
And I do this.
If I don't know, I can't read his mind, and vice versa and everything like that. And that way your communication skills get better and better and better. And that's being, showing a lot of respect to your partner. And that also shows that you can respect your partner, like as a person, because you know, kind of diving in and being like, is not respecting yourself or your partner. So even though it might seem like you're helping, and that's what in all my other relationships, because I was so masculine, meaning I had to protect myself because I didn't have anyone that I could be this vulnerable with. You know, I'm an open book anyways, but having it together is like a synchronized, beautiful effect. And so I learned that I need to be nurturing. And sometimes I can be a little bit mothering, even though I don't like that. So I'm learning to be more nurturing, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job. I mean, I'm pretty proud of myself.
I mean, we both
We're
remind each
learning.
other of, like, without trying to be jerks, right? Like we try to remind each other of where we're at without things you were gonna anyway. And it's a process, it's a learning curve, but it's working.
I want you guys to read this real quick.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff.
This is from our amazing friend, Scott Travis. He is an amazing artist, but there's a lot of things that I ask questions and he just goes,
yep, right here.
Right here. And it says, you can't get there without leaving here. Think about that in conversations, in life, and what you want to do. Like, you cannot get to a place without leaving another place, without, you know, leaving something that you may used to do in your relationships. You know what I mean? Like, if you are not doing anything differently, how do you expect a different outcome? You know, and he was just talking about that with his daughter this morning on the phone. I'm like, and he mentioned that, like, if you're doing the same thing, how are you going to get a different result? I'm like, damn, you're such a good dad. He is such an amazing dad. Like,
we'll
it's
see if she
sexy.
listens to it.
Well, I mean, he has 3 girls, you guys. I'm so excited to meet them. I haven't met them yet. We want that to happen very naturally and from a loving place. Even when it comes to his ex-wife, like, you know, someday I hope to meet her, and like, I just really want everyone to come from a loving place, and all of us to enter something with unconditional love, even though that might be hard for kids, but like,
one for
I'm
everybody.
excited about it.
It's there's potential there, but we're very much, we don't want to make things hard for anybody or uncomfortable for anybody, but we also put ourselves through a lot of discomfort.
Yeah.
It's out of choice though. Like we can not do hard things, but we choose to.
Yeah.
And so I think we're a little bit more willing than others maybe, but it is important to us to be able to, we want to have good relationships with everybody that's involved in our lives, and not we don't want them to feel uncomfortable, anything like that.
Yeah.
And it's a process.
And I do talk to his girls on FaceTime like all the time. And, you know, sometimes I'm like, babe, I haven't really talked to them in a long time. And I think it was last week where I got to talk to all of them for like an hour, you know, and it was just so lovely to catch up with them and, you know, and feel like I'm a part of their life, and you know, because they're also going through their parents being separated, you know, and that's really, really hard, you know, because it's your parents, it's like as mom and dad. And you know, I don't come from a divorced family, but at the same time, I know a lot of people that have come from a divorced family, and it is really, really hard. But over time, you learn, and these are the lessons, and you know, beautiful things can come out of it. Like, I know I'm just going to love them as much as possible. That's all that I can do. And because being in their lives like all the time in the future will be different for me. Do I love kids? That I want to have kids? Absolutely. I'm the oldest of 5. Kids are freaking awesome. And so I'm excited to have that, but it will be different for me. And, you know, in the future, I hope I can rely on him. I hope I can rely on his ex for the communication of how we all like are in, or I'm in his daughter's lives. Like, I really think it's important, and I'm excited for that. Yeah. I'm really excited for that. So I know we were kind of all over the place, you guys, but at the same time, you know, a relationship is all over the place. Life is all over the place, but it's really, really beautiful if you get to step back and be present and just be in the moment. And I hope you guys like get little tips and tricks from us. Yeah, we're in a new relationship. Who cares? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, we love each other and we want to share it with you, you know?
And we very much, I mean, we as soon as we started dating, we decided to get into a relationship coaching group
Yeah,
that Scott and
right.
Travis do.
Mhm.
And we knew about it before, but we were both single, so it didn't really seem to make a lot of sense to us. But we both thought like, well, it couldn't hurt. Like, why wouldn't you put yourself in the best possible situation? And it's been super helpful.
It's so helpful.
And it's nice too, because it gives us this group of other couples that we know that also has become friends of ours.
Yeah.
That we're able to communicate with and see other couples that are positive and seeking to grow their relationship instead of
and who are struggling.
Yeah, and some of them are struggling. The struggles are real, but they're at least like they have a desire to fix it. But it's so much better than the like you go on like a couples date and you hang out with that couple that is like fighting the whole time, or you can tell they're not getting along. That's like the constant example that we get, but it's so much better to be around those type of people that are trying to work and build and grow that relationship because it's inspiring.
Well said.
It's and it's not only inspiring, but it's this positive thing, and it fills you because it's a good example, and it's like the saying, you're the sum of the 5 people you hang out with the most. So much of life is that. And so it's the same with couples. If you hang out with couples that are just shitty to each other, cheat on each other, lie to each other,
talk shit about the other person.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that. So, but if we hang out with those positive couples, that helps us to be a more positive.
But also who are not afraid to be like, hey, we're having it. We're struggling right now. We don't need to know they're anybody's business, right? But like, okay, cool. If you need your support, like we're not alone. But that's the thing too. We were single and we were friends. I was like, if I ever got in a relationship again, I'm getting into Scott and Travis resolutions coaching group, because I would like to build a strong motherfucking foundation in the beginning of a relationship. So when we got together,
we talked about that
next day.
We hadn't even met yet in person, and we knew about this group, and we're talking about that I would do that too.
Yeah. So when we got together, we joined that week.
Yep.
We joined that week, and it has been so valuable to us. And Scott and Ann are our friends. They are our true friends.
Absolutely.
But as you get older, you learn how to separate things. Like, they're not like, our therapists or anything. They are here to help us see things where we learn how to communicate with each other, or, learn what boundaries are and goals, and like setting our table and everything like that. And then we're friends. It's really beautiful that like I can separate these things. But as a hairdresser, I've learned to separate those things too. Just like I'm sure in fire, and when you see people that at a house that you have to go to, you separate those things.
You absolutely separate it, and a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah, because if you mesh them all together, it can be really messy.
There's times where you can allow your emotions to be involved, and there's times where you have to just separate the emotion out so you can deal with what's right in front of you.
We're so thankful to be in this coaching group with Scott and Ann. And then we're also really grateful that we're in the same coaching group, the Lion's Den. Like we are constantly pushing ourselves to be the best that we can be. We want to be a power couple for ourselves,
and I want it for my children too. I want my kids to be inspired every day, or at least believe in themselves that they can do these things. And it's hard because they don't always see it. They're like, we don't get it. Like, why are you doing the things that you're doing?
Eventually they will.
But then sometimes they get that little nugget, and it's awesome because I want them to very much be smart, free thinking kids and turn into smart, free thinking adults that know they're capable of whatever they want to do, and that will actually go out and do it instead of just having regret that they didn't do it. And so much of that, we hang out with those people, we do those things. And that's why we're doing what we're doing, because we want to help everybody learn, grow, love harder, stronger, bigger, and to love yourself so you can help other people. Fill your cup.
Life, you guys. It's one life.
And it's a beautiful thing. And I'm sure there'll be more of this on both the podcasts. Hopefully this was of value to you. And next time we probably won't be so squirrel. We'll have it a little bit more planned out, because we weren't really sure.
We didn't have plans.
Maybe we'll just
anything.
Maybe we'll just free ball it. We'll see.
I free ball all my episodes. Free balling.
But yeah, guys,
because whatever we need to talk about is what you need to hear. That's how I
Yeah,
always feel.
that's how
Like
we
I feel
kinda
like
do
if
it.
what is your favorite color?
Yeah, we don't
Did you
script
change your
anything
underwear
really, but
today? What did you
yes.
eat today?
Yes.
No, bitch. No, like this is real, raw, transparent, and it's love. So we just want to share that with you guys. And if we help you, let us know.
Definitely.
Like, and if you want us to talk about something, let us know. Like DM us on Instagrams, put it in the comment box below. Please let us know. We are open to any discussions that you might want us to share with you guys.
Or individually,
Or
together,
individually.
however. We just want to help people. And
Yeah.
we're
We've been there. We've been there in places where we, wanted to burn everything to the ground. We just wanted to end it, or we hated ourselves. We didn't love ourselves. Like we've been there. We've been in bad relationships, and like, I mean, I've been in a ton of bad relationships, you know what I mean? And like he had a great marriage with his ex. It just didn't work out. Things changed, and that's okay.
People change.
So, and that's not bad at all. I feel like they're all lessons in life, and we can all grow from these things and, hopefully be friends. But, again, I've never been married. And so I've dated like a ton of people, been in long relationships, been single for a long time. And so like, there's different things that he might be able to talk to you guys about that I can't, and vice versa. And so we're open to everything, you guys.
Yep.
So we just also want you to know that you are so loved. You're so
Absolutely,
beautiful.
yes.
You're unique who you are. You get to choose who you want to be, you guys.
Yep.
And be real. Don't lie. Don't hide. There's no reason to it, because people will be able to see right through you. And it's such a release to be open and honest with yourself and to really love yourself. So if you're having trouble with that, if you're having trouble with PTSD or anything like that, hit him up, hit me up. And if we don't know the answer, guess what? We have friends that
find
do.
it.
We'll help
Yeah,
you.
definitely reach out, guys. Don't be scared. The best way to change your life is by taking the first step, regardless of what that is. And hope you guys found value in this today, and love y'all.
Yeah, we love you guys. So anyways, with that said, have a great Monday.
Absolutely. Or Tuesday.
Or if you're watching his. So again, this podcast is Free in Your Mind. This is Free Lady. Together today, this is Free Lady and Free in Your Mind podcast. Right. And we are here for you. We love you. And we hope you have an amazing week. Set your goals, set your dreams, and get after them.
That's right, guys. Love y'all. God bless.
Bye.